we share, with a dash of this and a pinch of that, mixed all up with care. The best company and conversation, recipes and new creations. We're cooking up something good here at home. We are cooking up something good here at home.
This is the day that the Lord hath made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. You know what? It's a choice. It's a decision that we have to make. Do we want to be happy in the day, or do we want to have a bad day? I think if we roll out of bed every morning with that determination to say, I'm going to make this a good day. No matter what happens today, this is the day that the Lord hath made. And you know, the scripture says, as our days, so will our strength be. If he's given you this day, he's promised to give you the strength to live out the day. I think that's great. That's good news. We can all embrace that and take that in and be thankful for it. My very special guest today here in the At-Home Kitchen is someone that you've met before. She was on with me when I was teaching her how to make meatballs and gravy. And I asked her to come back because she's got a husband that really, really likes breakfast. Her name is Toni Hembry, and she is the marketing and publicity coordinator for Cornerstone Television. And she's relatively still a newlywed. They've been married too long, but she has a husband who really enjoys breakfast. So she said, I'd be glad to show some different ideas. And I think you're going to find this fascinating because she's using an ingredient in one of her breakfast rolls that I have never used except one way in my life in anything. And you're going to see that, and we're going to talk about it. So you want to stay tuned for that. But she's got a well-rounded breakfast, and we're going to enjoy it. And the hubby, hopefully, is going to get here in time that he can join us in the end at the table. So stay tuned. We're going to give you our at-home hint. And when we come back, Toni Hembry right here in the At-Home Kitchen. Stay tuned. We'll see you in a minute. Here's today's at-home hint. To remove the skin from cloves of garlic, quickly plunge each clove into boiling water for about 30 seconds. Drain and let cool slightly. The skins will slip right off easily. If you've got a helpful hint, we want to hear from you. Send your hint to At Home Hints, Cornerstone Television, Wall, Pennsylvania, 15148-1499. Well, here she is. Toni, we're so glad you're here.
Well, I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah, and you're going to make some interesting dishes that Kyle really likes, huh?
Yes, they are. They're good. Do you want me to tell you what we're...
Yeah, tell us.
Well, we're going to make some cornbread, but not the way that you might be used to making it. I'm going to use cake mix in my cornbread.
That's what I was talking about, that one ingredient that I've never used for anything else except baking a cake. She's using a boxed cake mix, and she's going to put that in her cornbread. Talk about moist. There it is right there.
And
okay.
I can't take all the credit for that. That's my mom. She's the one who came up with it.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to show you because I really like it.
Show us.
All right. Well, to get started, you buy your cornbread mix.
That's wonderful, those little Jiffy packs.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to do the dry ingredients first. So I'll put the cornbread mix in there.
Okay.
And then with the cake mix, you're not going to use the whole box. You're going to use a third.
A third of the box.
A third of the box.
Which is about how much?
Which is,
that's
about a cup.
Yeah,
about a cup of mix. So you do that, and I'm just going to mix the dry stuff first together.
So you mix that with the cornbread mix, okay.
Yeah, so that's pretty easy. Just get that all mixed together there. You can already smell the cake mix.
I
It
love
smells good.
cornbread. And that's going to add a little sweetness to this too.
It is. You know, a lot of the cornbreads I eat can be dry sometimes, and this really makes it like a nice little moist. You could use it for breakfast, lunch, dinner,
you could
dessert.
throw jalapenos, cheese, any kind of herbs in there.
Yeah, you could. Okay, now what I do is I just follow the back of the directions on the box there for the cornbread, so you need another egg for that.
So it's one egg or two?
Just one egg for that, but then you also need one egg because you have your cake mix. You have to follow a third of the cake mix box too.
Oh, now you're confusing us, but we have these all written down for you, so you don't have to figure that out. Yeah.
So there's that.
Okay,
so that I put another egg in there for that.
So that would just make it better, more enriched. Okay.
Right. So there's that. And then for the water, it says on the back of here you need a cup of water, but we're only going to do a third of a cup because it's a third. Right. So mix that in there with that.
Okay. All right.
And then you have your oil. Now I only did 1.5 1.5 tablespoons because it asks for 1/3 of a cup of oil.
Okay.
So you don't want too much in there. You just want 1/3. So there's that. And then we need our milk, which I think is still in the refrigerator.
Okay.
So let me grab that real quick.
All right, I'm going to do a little cleanup while she's getting her milk.
And then the milk, which they asked for on the cornbread mix, so you add that in.
Okay, well, don't worry about what's on the back of the mixes, because when you get the recipe, we have it all written down and figured out for you, okay? Because that can be confusing. Okay.
Now I'm going to just blend this for a minute.
So I'm not going to talk to her while she's doing this because we can't hear each other. Go ahead.
It'd probably help if it was plugged in.
Oh, we have to plug that in.
So
no plugging it in,
let's take a moment here and plug this in.
I hope this isn't turned on, because if it is, I'm going to look like a snowman.
Okay, there we go. All right, it's going to get loud here for a second.
There we go. So you just blend that until it's mixed up.
Until it's pretty mixed. I mean, it's going to be a little lumpy because cornbread mix tends to do that. But it'll cook down.
I think it's fascinating that she uses the cake mix with that. I think that's that's great. I can see how that would be a plus to cornbread because, like you said, it does dry out.
It does, yeah. And
they don't taste good, do they, when they're dry?
Not so much, no.
No.
So I'm just going to scoop that up, make sure we got all of it mixed together pretty well there.
You probably could even do that with just you won't even have to use a mixer.
You could, yeah. Just want to make it look pretty for TV.
Absolutely.
All right, now I like to use these muffin tins, and you can spray them and use your pan that way. But for easy cleanup, I like to use the baking cups.
Sure, absolutely.
So I take a measuring cup and I use about 1/3 of a measuring cup because this is nice because
makes them all the same.
Makes it all the same, yeah. So I just do this. Fill it up about 2/3 of the way, and then
just put it in there.
Just put it in there, yeah. And then you want to fill up your cup about 2/3 of the way. You don't want it to overflow whenever you're baking it.
You know what? Can I go ahead and do that while you get us started with the apples?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Why don't we do that? I'll swap it out for you.
Okay.
Let's just put this in that bus pan underneath there so we can have some room. Excuse me, put that down there. There we go.
All right.
And this is something that she makes that also has some of that cake mix in it.
Yes. There are many ways to use cake mix that you never thought of before. We had apples laying around the house the one day, and I said, well, I really need to do something with these apples because they're getting a little mealy. You know how sometimes they can get mushy.
Yeah, they don't get very nice.
No, they don't get very nice. Well, this is a fun way to make cinnamon apples. They're called Easy as Pie cinnamon apples. So what you want to do is, here I have a double recipe, which we're making. But
because we have a hungry crew.
We do have a hungry crew.
We don't like to be stampeded because we don't have enough food, so we make more.
So what you would do is, in the regular recipe, you'd have 4 apples cut up, sliced. And you want to take all the...
What kind of apples do you use?
I use Granny Smith because I like that.
Because they're a little sour?
They're a little sour, and Kyle really likes those. Well, you're going to have your brown sugar, and I take about 1/2 cup to 3/4 of a cup packed. And you want to put that in your nice little Ziploc 1 gallon bag here. And then you take your cinnamon, which you have about a teaspoon. But we have double because we're doing double the recipe here. And then you want to take your apple slices and just, pop them in the bag. It's going to be like a nice little shake and bake.
Yeah,
so it's real easy. I think if you have kids, that would be a lot of fun. We don't have kids
and they could
yet,
help
but,
you,
But yeah, they can be a part of your meal planning here.
And I think that's important. And you as a newlywed, you're working toward being a good cook, and everybody, it takes a process to learn.
Right.
And you want to develop good skills in the kitchen, and then you can pass them on and get your kids involved. That's great.
That's right. And this is easy for anyone, really, I think. So while you're doing this, you have this all shaking up here.
Okay.
Now, before you cook these, you want to have your pan ready over here. So
let's get the heat on this.
This is double the water, so I'm going to pour this in here. We have about 4 tablespoons.
You're probably going to need to turn that on to get it good and hot.
So we have that one, and then we do about 2 tablespoons of butter, but obviously we have 4 here because we're doing the double.
Extras, yeah.
But like you say, it's all in the recipe there.
Right. Now I have 12 out of this. Is that about right?
That's about right.
Is that what it's supposed to make? Okay.
About 12. And with that, you can also...
the second one, honey.
The second one, that's right. This is different than that.
Turn it. There you got it on.
All right. Well, you can also put those in a pan, like a cake pan, and make it a nice little cake and cut them into squares too. But I tend to like that because it makes it nice and even and easy.
Yeah, sure.
So.
Okay. I'm going to pop these in the oven. What's the oven set on?
The oven should be at 350, and you want to bake these about 25 to 30 minutes, depending on your oven. Some people have hotter ovens than others. So
we need some rye. We don't have a cloth here.
They should be a light golden brown. You don't want them too dark or anything.
Good.
Like that. So
now we're just got the water.
We're just waiting for this butter to melt here, and then what we'll do is
you're going to drop your apples in.
Drop this in and let them bake about 10 minutes.
Can I go ahead and do this batch while you're waiting on that one?
I could probably put a little bit more in this bag too.
Yeah. Okay.
Then we're going to mix it all together in here and let them cook down.
Now I'm going to just drop all this stuff in here, right?
Just not the cake mix, because we're going to save that for later.
Okay, but the brown sugar and the cinnamon, right?
Yep.
All goes in there.
And then you just stick your apples in there.
And then we just do the apples. Okay.
Just until they're covered and...
Yeah, this would be great even, I think, in an apple pie.
Well, you know, that's kind of the funny thing. I was trying to find an apple pie filling because I had leftover cake mix from making these cornbread cakes. And I thought, well, what can I do with that?
Yeah.
And I had apples, like I said, that were getting a little, mealy, so they needed to be cooked. So I was like, I need to figure out a way to make an apple pie filling. So I started with this, and I thought, well, brown sugar, cinnamon, that tastes good.
That's the basic,
Cook it down. And then to make the sauce thicker, I was like, well, I still have a little bit of cake mix left, so I'll dump that in there.
Yeah.
So when your apples cook down,
so we're just going to put both of these into that pan, and they're going to cook down until they get nice and soft.
Yes.
Okay. While that's happening, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with some more. We're making breakfast quesadillas. Oh, yeah. You don't want to leave now. Yummo. We'll be right back. Okay, we've got the apples cooking. They're bubbling. Oh, it smells incredible in here. And she's going to add, this is some more of that cake mix, but you're not going to add that just yet,
Not yet. It needs to cook down a little bit
few minutes.
longer.
Okay, so we're going to add that later, but just she's covering that. Maybe you want to leave that lid off now. What do you think? Let's put it under here.
I think that's a good idea. We can do that.
Yeah, because then you want that to evaporate. You want to cover it to get them cooking, but once they start, take it off. Okay, that's a good idea. All right, now here we go with the quesadillas. You've got a pan nice and hot to do what? Eggs? Eggs.
We're going to scramble our eggs, and you can do, depending on how many people you're serving this for. We got about 10 here, so we're just gonna do this whole carton right here. So we got a hungry crew here.
You know, this is true. We feel like we don't cook just for like a family. We cook for the masses.
That's right.
Because the crew likes to eat, and they're not happy campers. Yeah, they are.
So I'm just gonna crack these, and then we'll scramble them. Yep. And then
save some time.
Put a little bit of water, salt and pepper.
That makes the best.
Yeah, I don't tend to use
milk and
any
cream
milk.
And all that stuff.
It just kind of weighs the eggs down a little bit.
I think so too.
So I found this to be the best way.
Now you see what happened? There's an eggshell.
I see that floating around in there.
You know what the best way to do it is with an eggshell to get it.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you go down and see you pull it to the side. It gets right in your egg. And there you got it, right there.
What a great tip.
Look at that.
I'm always trying to fish around in there.
Doesn't work.
Waste more time than I'd like.
This is true. This is true.
Okay, so there's
all
that.
Right. And then this is also something you're going to add. And I'm going to do this while you're doing your stuff. Okay?
All right. Well, that is like the glue for the quesadilla.
It holds them together. Okay.
Yes.
And this is cream cheese, and it's room temperature. And again, we're doubling what the recipe is. You only have half of this. But you're also going to put hot sauce.
Yes, that gives it the southwestern flair.
Ooh, all of this?
If you want all of it, it depends on your level of heat. If you guys like heat, then let's go for it.
What does Kyle like?
Kyle likes the heat.
He likes the heat. Okay.
Rick's saying dump it in.
Okay. They voted. So, the rest of us can't eat it. They're in trouble. You know?
I'm just looking for a whisk here. I think
I put
there
one
it
right
is.
There
All right, it was hiding. So we're gonna do that.
Okay, you're just gonna mix those together. Just add a little bit of water.
Yeah.
You know, room temperature water is the best when you're doing your eggs. And a lot of people say, oh, the milk's best with eggs. But you know what? If you're making omelets, it isn't, because the whey in the milk makes your eggs get very tough. Water keeps them light.
And I've noticed that the water, too, kind of doubles the volume of the egg.
It does. Yeah, it does.
So,
and it'll cook it out, too. It will cook it out.
Yes.
Okay. And
All
we
right,
also
that
have
smells
cheese
really
here.
good. I can smell that
me
heat
too.
there.
And you have sausage that you've already
Sausage
cooked
we've made
and drained
already.
very
and
well.
we're kind of going to do like a little assembly line. So
Okay.
we're just going to put everything together on, you know, Kyle and I have a funny story about this. We were trying to figure out something to eat for dinner one night. And Kyle said, well, you know, I love breakfast, but let's try something different with the breakfast. I said, okay, what do you want me to do? He said, I don't know. Do something with those tortillas and put some heat in there. Because, you know, I'm from Arizona. I like spice. So I said, okay. So I came back with this and I said, here's a quesadilla. And he goes, oh, my favorite things, cheese, sausage, eggs.
What's not to like, huh?
Yeah, so it was kind of like a little experiment. We just kind of came up with it.
Well, good. Okay, so you're going to drop that into a skillet that's hot, a little bit of butter in there.
There's a little butter and...
Might need to turn the heat up on that one.
Yeah. And we'll just...
Okay. And then how long, does that get salt and pepper at all? The eggs?
The eggs, I put a little bit of salt and pepper in them already. Yeah, because you want that, but you know, you're gonna have your sausage and your salt, all of that. So you don't want to overdo it with the salt.
Now, do you want me to start to assemble this? We only have a couple of minutes.
That would be great.
Okay.
Yeah, that looks good.
Should I do one of these?
Yes. What you do with that is you just take your quesadilla shell.
This is a flour tortilla.
You can use flour, you can
get
use
the big ones or the small
corn
ones, right?
Any of them, yeah. We've used corn tortilla shells too, but I think the flour ones do
are better, huh?
a great job. Yeah, they cook
Okay, and
well.
I'm just spreading a thin coat?
You can spread a thin coat
or
on
thick.
there.
Well, what do you do? Like this or more?
I do. That's about what I do.
Is that what you do? Okay.
Yeah, and that's going to be, like I said, the glue that kind of holds your quesadilla together.
My mouth is watering. I probably could eat this just like this. Because who doesn't like cream cheese?
I know. You can put cream cheese and cheese on there and make a quesadilla if you just want a cheese
just
quesadilla.
Just that, sure.
Yep.
Do I go clear to the edge or not?
Not all the way.
But like I have it, is that okay?
Yeah, I think that looks good like that.
Okay, now what do I do with this?
Okay, now...
sausage?
Put some sausage on there, yep. And when these eggs are ready, we're going to put those on there too.
Okay, now do I just put a thin layer of sausage on this, or what do I do here?
Yeah, that's good. Just a thin layer, because you don't want this huge, massive quesadilla that you're trying to flip over later.
Yeah, because it'll land on the floor, usually. Okay.
And then
what else? No, what do I do?
Well, we're going to need the eggs. They're not quite done yet.
Here. Okay.
Yeah, so when these are ready, we're going to put those on, and some cheese. You can put some cheese on now if you like cheese. Depends on if you really like cheese. I mean, you can use a lot, but it wouldn't be called a quesadilla without cheese. Yeah, really. Well, I'm going to check on these apples because they're looking pretty good. Now, you see that the sauce is a little watery still. You think, well, you know, when I see apple pie filling or I see cinnamon apples, you want it nice and thick. Well, that's where the cake mix comes in. So I'm going to put a little bit of cake mix in here, and that's your thickening agent.
Oh my!
Because I know that flour is a thickening agent, but I thought, well, flour's not going to taste good with apples.
No, it wouldn't. It would be flat.
It would be flat.
It would really be flat, and you don't want that flatness because you want that flavor of the apple to come out.
That's right.
And you want it to, what you put into it, it should support the apple, not overwhelm it.
Right. So this will cook another about 5 minutes, and then you just kind of want to set it to the side after it's done because it'll thicken a little more.
All right, talk us through now until these eggs get done, and they're slowly getting there. You know, watch pot never boils, as my mom used to say.
Right. Well, what you would do with this is after you have your whole quesadilla assembled, you would put a little bit of vegetable oil on the bottom of the pan. Okay. And then you'd let the quesadilla brown a little bit, you know, to your liking. Minutes? Yeah, maybe 3 or 4 minutes at the most, depending on how high. You know, you don't want your heat turned up too high. Right. Maybe like a medium low. Okay. And then once that one side's brown, you can flip it. Just put a little bit of vegetable oil, brush it on the top of the other one. Okay. Flip it over, cook it for about another 3 minutes. And there you go. And you can cut it with a pizza cutter or however you want to cut it.
Well, you know what? We're going to cook up these eggs, finish the apples, and we're going to be in the dining room with the whole breakfast menu right after this important message. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, I hope you're going to send for the recipes because you're not going to want to miss them. I'm telling you, this stuff is so awesome. And seated at the table with Tony and me is her wonderful husband, Kyle. We're so glad you joined us.
I'm so glad I joined you as well. Those look delicious.
You wouldn't miss it, huh?
No,
not this. Not when the wife made it like she did. Tony, thank you, because this is an awesome, this just all looks so inviting and so delicious. And we're going to start down there with those cinnamon apples. Yes. Look how wonderful We put those in a bowl, and they're kind of like a dessert. Would you eat them last?
You could eat them as a dessert.
With the cornbread,
They're
maybe?
so good, though. You might want to eat them
You can eat them
first.
anytime you want to eat them.
That's
Yeah, there's
right.
no rules here. Okay, and then we made these wonderful cornbread muffins. Oh my, I'm
With
telling you,
cake mix.
they are so different because that little bit of cake mix in there just completely changes the flavor, and they are awesome. Honey on that, a little bit of jam on that, or just some good old butter. Hello. Excellent. You like them with butter?
Absolutely. I like them
You
with
like
anything.
them with anything, yeah.
Or
Okay.
just plain.
Yeah,
They're
they
just
are
as
good.
with,
They're
you know,
good.
with nothing.
And then pick up one of those quesadillas and show them. She fried them in the skillet. Look at that.
Yes.
That's got the sausage, the eggs, the cheese.
It's just oozing out of there.
Yeah, and that cream cheese on there with a little bit of tang to it. Now you could add some crushed red peppers, jalapenos, if you want to spice it up. I bet you like it that way.
I
right?
love it with the red peppers.
He's from Arizona. He has to like it hot, you know,
right.
absolutely. But you toned it down for us.
I did. You know, there's different variations you can do, but Kyle really likes all of the spices
So,
together.
yeah.
And
And you could use hot sausage there instead
You
of just a
could.
mild breakfast sausage, whatever. But I'm telling you that, and some good fresh orange juice, some fresh oranges, and hot coffee. What else could you want but friends around the table?
That's right.
And just like you, thank you for joining us. It just wouldn't be the same without you. We'll see you next time.
Furnishings provided by Levin Furniture, featuring Lane's Country Living Collection. Food provided by Jordan Banana Company, wholesalers of fresh fruit and vegetables in Trevosburg, Pennsylvania.
Cornerstone Television wishes to thank all our faithful viewers whose consistent prayers and financial support have made this program possible.